Hey, Shalom. I like to start off with saying Ka Halayim La Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Harakak Wadash Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone and my elder Herawan as well. Salutations to the Arkham that are pushing this truth and sincerity and truth. And peace and blessings to the men, women, and children that believe in the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Alright. I'm Kanaka Amban Yashar from the Lions and the Yashar camp. Coming with another, this is kind of sort of like a news and prophecy because I'm dealing with an article, but I want to kind of get a little in depth into it for the simple fact that it speaks on a lot. It speaks on potential war with Russia and China against America, and it speaks on the division in America, and it speaks on how America is losing its grip on itself, and it's slowly being like a ball of yarn unraveling into just one little small piece of string that really amounts to nothing, you know. And Lord willing, this lesson to edify and serve His purpose for the hopeful elect, the ones that truly believe in the name of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. All right. So now there's a lot of meat in this article, especially dealing with the title. It says, "Real danger to United States isn't Russo Sino warships, its internal attack on Constitution," right? There is an internal attack going on against the Constitution because I hear the elder talk about it a lot. The one thing that's holding them back from really going full force with the CHIP and the MOTB is the Constitution. And they violated those constitutional rights in 2020 by forcing individuals to do certain things, saying they could not perform certain duties or do certain things if they were not, if they didn't have a face covering and things of that sort. So that in itself, just from the title, the eternal attack on the Constitution, they need to move that out of the way in order to push their agenda, right? So now you see the things happening with Trump, Biden falling asleep every 5 minutes, and you got like an article I got to do a lesson on later is they sent more like thousands of Marine jarhead personnel over to the Middle East to deal with Iran acting the damn fool over there. So there's a lot of America's being divided in so many different directions that it won't be able to stand. It won't have a leg to stand on. It's ultimately the Lord is turning this into a land of unwalled villages, man. You know, and this is all done by the power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. So now going into the article, it says, news of 11 Russian and Chinese warships sailing in international waters off the Alaskan coastlines has sounded a tsunami of alarms in America. But why are the alarms? All right, so now I did a lesson on this day before yesterday. Yesterday I did a lesson on the Alabama joint, and they took it down, but whatever. So why is there such a tsunami of alarms going off when, you know, America practices in international waters? Because they haven't, the ships are still in international waters. They haven't broken any international maritime laws. They're just congregating over there off the coast of Alaska. It says, all right, so now you have a protest going on, right? It says, demonstrators hold signs outside the E. Barrett Prettyman federal courthouse as former President Donald Trump is arraigned on charges of election subversion in Washington on August 3rd. Photo by Bonnie Cash. All right. It says the United States has routinely practiced freedom of navigation operations. So that's one of the things that's going on in the United States that they need to be worried about, what they have people focused on. But the real deal is what's going on somewhat in the United States and also outside the United States. It says the United States has routinely practiced freedom of navigation operations in the Taiwan Strait and elsewhere since the Cold War began. Now, Beijing and Moscow are following suit, obviously intent on causing an overreaction here, much as China balloons did earlier this year, and they are succeeding brilliantly. So they're trying to get a reaction out of America by doing these joint military drills over in the Taiwan Strait in the South Korean Peninsula or whatever in that area. And then you have them lining up off the coast of Alaska. And then you had the so-called weather balloons and stuff flying over America and causing America to jump and overreact. It says what Americans must be alarmed about is not a few warships off its coast, although that is understandable. The burning question is, how does a nation survive when its constitution is surrounded by circumstances never before contemplated by the founding fathers or anyone else? And truth, fact, and the political process are under simultaneous attacks provoked by a deep and possibly irreversibility divided nation on almost every issue, great or small. Right. So it's talking about the separation and division in America, man. And you have the thing happen with, I don't want to say it no more because it might take it down. The boat ramp brawl going on. You have an uproar of the people dealing with the Trump situation. You have an uproar of people dealing with Biden and his foolishness. And you have uproars with the people dealing with the with gas prices. There's so many things causing division amongst the nation amongst America, that what's going on outside America, it should be the least of their problems. All right, it says it has taken 60 years for the nation to descend to the point where 75% of Americans see the nation headed in the wrong direction. And can two walk together unless they be agreed? No. There's no agree. Nobody agrees on nothing in America. And have a full understanding, America was created off division. Going back to, I did a lesson on that. America was created off division. You had the Union and the Confederacy. Division amongst a nation of people because they're all Edomites. It says an almost equal number do not want to see a rematch of 2020 with Donald Trump running against President Joe Biden again. Yet are there alternatives? Really doesn't look like it. I mean, Joe Rogan did a video, or somebody did a video on Joe Rogan's prediction of Tucker Carlson being the next president. I didn't get a chance to watch that, but it says former President Trump faces 3 and possibly 4 indictments during his pursuit of re-election. His near certain opponent is 80 years old, with a very unpopular vice president as a running mate, and saddled with a son whose conduct at best is reprehensible. It says, assuming Trump is the Republican nominee, how can a candidate running for president be entirely capable with facing multiple charges of criminal wrongdoing? This can only end in disaster, and to some, the January 6 indictments pose even more serious charges. Trump will use these indictments to his advantage, attacking the system for persecuting him, weaponizing the justice system department, even though he is the one accused of breaking the law. Truth, fact, and the political system could be eviscerated in this process as Trump refuses to accept any alternative version of his understanding of what each is. All right, so now you have all types of how the hell you gonna have somebody running for president and they got to go to court tomorrow? You get what I'm saying? Or he got, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. And America is being looked at as a laughing stock, as a gazing stock, and the Lord said He's going to set America up for that. So this is all being done by Yahweh Shem Shai. All right. It says, by his own admission, Trump distorts truth and fact to serve his purpose. For example, Trump asserts that the Presidential Records Act allows him to retain even classified material. It does not allow official documents belonging to the United States government. To say this is the most extreme form of understatement. It says, more dangerous are uncharted constitutional waters and the question of whether the Constitution is still fit for purpose. So once they move the Constitution out of the way, then they can implement the CHIP by force. The MOTB can be brought forth by force. Right now, like the elder says all the time, the Constitution is the one thing that's in the way. All right? It says, first, a political system based on checks and balances cannot work without compromise and civility. Both have been made extinct on Capitol Hill by Democrats and Republicans. That's the division right there that we're seeing right now. So you're gonna have a war pop off, right? And with that war popping off, right, they're gonna try to blame the Democrats or the Republicans, whoever's in office at that time. Right now, it's looking like the Democrats, because this shit is heating up quick. As soon as they get that Constitution out of the way, then they can move forward with their plan with the new monetary system that's going to be all digital, and it's going to be attached to the body. All right, the Revelation 13 and 16, the MOTB. It says, second, the Constitution is silent about presidential misconduct beyond impeachment and conviction. Forcing removal from office, can a president commit high crimes and misdemeanors that can be subject to others' jurisdictions? Trump was twice impeached, once after leaving office, and was acquitted. Suppose he is convicted of one or more alleged crimes. How does the Constitution deal with that? Right? So now they're talking about, and they said they need to rewrite the Constitution. Trump even said that when he was in office. But it's not really a modification of the Constitution. They really want to move it out of the way and not deal with it at all. They have more control over the people. Understanding that control is the ultimate thing. It says, third, the electoral college system has disenfranchised the majority of American voters. Twice over the past 2 decades, presidents were elected while losing the popular votes. George W. Bush in 2000 and Trump in 2016. Trump still asserts his own in 2020, even though he was defeated by some 5 million popular votes and a 306 to 232 electoral votes. So right, the electoral college system is what determines who's the president, not the people. All right. It says, given that electoral and non-popular votes count in the 2024 election, as few as 50 or 60,000 voters in 4 or 5 states could determine the next president. For half the deeply divided electorate, it will be delegitimized not to matter who wins. And fueling voters' discontent is free speech. It says, When is presidential lying unacceptable and when is it illegal? Trump is making this argument ignoring the truth and fact. The First Amendment guarantee of free speech is among the most obvious and potentially divisive issues in 2024, because that's what they're trying to take away as free speech and free choice. You know, that whole thing with the abortions and stuff, the free choice, that was, listen, they're gonna bring, that was a form of depopulation, but they're gonna have to bring that off the table to where, because they're trying to do away with the Constitution and they're trying to force these draconian measures on the people. It says, as China and Russia are toying with the United States with these naval exercises, how will both exploit what will happen in America in 2024? It said, what will happen, Slacky? How will both, they will, right? It says, allies also are very worried about America's potential for a political implosion. Right, it's blowing up from inside out like that submarine did. The nation seems relatively uncertain that it is on a collision course with political crisis unlike any since the Civil War. And that's how America was established, through that division. When the truth and fact no longer count and its constitution has no answers, can a nation strive, especially in an election year, with these two likely opponents running to lead the country? No one has proposed an acceptable way out. Right, because there's too much division, man. So America is divided on every side. There's no agreements. There's no compromise nowhere in this nation. You know, and it's all set up by Yahweh by Shem Shai. Can two walk together unless they be agreed? No. So 100 people going in 100 different directions can't stand. All right, I want to close it out with this scripture. This is Matthew chapter 12, verse 25. It says, and Yahweh Shai knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. Right, and we just read in the article how America's is crumbling. Right, it's crumbling. What is falling like the Twin Towers. Right, it says, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And we're witnessing that in America. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? So you have so much division. Like, you got the Democratic Party saying they're the good guys. You got the Republican Party saying, no, we're the good guys. And they're both wicked. They're both trying to cast each other out. So that's like Satan casting out Satan, man. With all that division of the house cannot stand. The city cannot stand. The nation cannot stand. And their kingdom cannot stand. All right. Verse 26 again, it says, if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? Right? Right. So how then can his kingdom stand if he's divided against himself? All right. And that's exactly what's happening, man. So now let me keep going. It says, and if I by Beelzebub cast out devils, by whom do your children cast them out? Therefore they shall be your judges. All right. It says, but if I cast out devils by the spirit of Yahweh by Shem Shai, then the kingdom of Yahweh is come unto you. All right. There's another point I want to get. All right, because this is all being set up by Yahweh by Shem Shai. Has the prophets out there on the highways and byways dividing this nation, exposing, lifting up the skirt of Babylon, exposing everybody in America to the atrocity that is committed since the foundation, right? And then you have it happening over the media. You have these other nations exposing it from internationally, and all that confusion and disruption is going to hit the homeland and blow this place to smithereens, man. It says, verse 29. It says, or else how can one enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house. All right? Right, and that's the point. And that's what's being done up. Whatever's bound in earth is going to be bound in heaven. Whatever's loosed on earth shall be loosed in heaven. And so we're binding these devils up through the Spirit, man. All right, and the Lord is about to enter into the house of the thief, that strong man, which is Esau. And his main central location is right here in America. So that's why you see all the division, man. It's being done by Yahweh Shem Yahushai, because this nation of Edom and this kingdom of the United States of America is about to be taken down. Lord willing, this lesson is edifying to serve his purpose. With that, Allah Sekar Halayim La Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Harikah Kodash, my mouth. Double honors to the elder apostles, the great millstone, and my elder Heroin as well. Salutations to the archon that are pushing the truth to sincerity and truth. And peace and blessing to the men, women, and children that believe in the name of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Shalom.